What's up, football fans? It's now time for the second round of the playoffs, divisional round for the NFL. Picks and predictions. Let's go into this for the 2024-2025 season. And as always, let's see what happened on Wild Card Weekend. Well, we did quite well. For getting that video out quite late, I completely forgot to post that video. We did quite well, at least on Saturday. You know, Houston did end up beating up on the Chargers pretty handily, might I add. Baltimore looked like no slouches up against Pittsburgh, and Buffalo decimated the Broncos. Here's where a few things went a little awry. Because, well, Green Bay, Jordan Love, I mean, I guess he can only torch the Cowboys in the playoffs. Let's be real here. I guess his playoff streak is only against my Cowboys, and what does that count for these days anymore? You know what I mean? Because Philadelphia really dominated that game. The score, 22-10, doesn't paint a good picture to showcase just how underprepared the Packers were. Or Philadelphia, you know what I mean? So yeah, that was a wash of a game before we started. But however, Washington ends up beating Tampa Bay by a smidge margin. And I know a lot of people were hesitant to pick Washington, but I said, and now that we fired Mike McCarthy, I said we should have brought up Dan Quinn in the first place, and look at him, already winning his first playoff game as a head coach. I'm just saying. Dan Quinn was not the problem when he was on my team. And finally, the Rams beat Minnesota. Let's go. So, I mean, this is pretty much how I wanted things to go down. You know what I mean? In all honesty, this is how I expected things to go down and how I wanted them to go down. Because as you guys know, being married for a very long time, I ended up having a very big love for the Rams. It's my father-in-law's team and stuff like that, and it's just, so I have a soft spot for them, and they ended up becoming my second team. And, I mean, I just love to see them do well, especially as the underdog. You know what I mean? Like, yes, it feels good when your team's on top, like Kansas City, Buffalo fans, stuff like that. I'm sure you guys feel fantastic right now. But doesn't it feel good when you're the underdog and you come out swinging? I feel like that victory is even more exciting. Because when you go in and you're top 5 in the league versus bottom 5, you're like, you expect to dominate. But when you're the underdog, when you're the bottom 5 fighting the top 5 and you come out swinging, I feel like that victory feels a little stronger for the fans and for the players. So that's how it sort of felt with the Rams. Granted, Minnesota was sort of falling off, similar to how the Eagles fell off last season. They were they're one of the top teams. They were dominating. Then they lost like the last 6-7 games of the regular season, all in one stretch. And Minnesota seemed to do the same thing. Like once the snow hit the ground, all the gas was out of their tanks. I don't know what it is. Either way, we cleaned up okay. As far as that happened, because we got most of them right. That's the main thing. Now we jump over to the divisional games, and as much as I want to pick it, I'm going to go with a different upset. So I'm actually going to go with 2. So the first game, everyone's saying 3-peat. I don't think 3-peat. But I don't think they're bowed out here. As much as I would love the Texans to come out and destroy Kansas. Once again, have they won by more than 8 points? Have they won a single game? I didn't go back and check. I'm not an AFC football guy. But have they actually won a single regular season game with a mild to weakest schedule for the top team in the league? Have they won a single game by more than more than a touchdown? More than 8 points? Like more than one possession? And if it was more than one possession, was it like a possession and a field goal? Like they didn't put 44 points on the board to 10 this whole season, did they? I'm pretty sure they didn't. Granted, once again, Kansas ain't my team. Don't love them, don't hate them. They're just not in my wheelhouse. But yeah, I would love to pick Houston here. I'm hoping for Houston, but I think Kansas kind of has this. So we're going to go with Kansas City over Houston. Detroit over Washington, because even though I've got a soft spot sort of for Washington, even in my own division, I've always had a soft spot for Washington for some reason. And even though I think Dan Quinn should have been the head coach of the Cowboys, and I like Dan Quinn. Detroit, they're hungry for it. They deserve this. They worked hard for this. I really feel like Detroit, they might not be my team, but they are the most deserving. They put in all the time, all the effort, and they come out absolutely to play every game this season, which is less than I can say about more than half the teams this season. So Detroit deserves this more than anybody. They want to fight for it. I don't think Washington has a prayer. I really don't. And I'm not even religious, but even I would pray, if I was on that team, I would try anything. Now, here's where we're going to go our two upsets. Technically, our two upsets. We're going with the Rams. I'm keeping with my Rams. They beat the Vikings, who I believe are technically stronger than the Eagles overall, even though the last few weeks isn't a great showing. And then we're going to go with Baltimore over Buffalo. Now, Baltimore-Buffalo is more of a head-to-head matchup. It's not exactly underdog versus, anything like that. But I really do think that the Ravens want it. Josh Allen wants it. But this one's a tops. This is honestly a coin flip. I like both teams well enough, so I don't really care, in all honesty. Probably like Baltimore a little more than Buffalo. But if I have to choose one, I'm going to go with Baltimore for that very reason. Buffalo, I don't like anybody in that division. I've always hated that division. I grew up in the Tom Brady, just before the Tom Brady era, and then into the Tom Brady era. I never liked that division, okay? Hate the Jets. Don't like Miami. Never liked Buffalo much. And, of course, the Patriots. I'm going to have to listen to them until the day I fucking die about that dynasty. So, I got no love for that division. Baltimore's never really steered me wrong, and I think, Henry, Flowers, Jackson, I think they're all just really stellar athletes, and I think if they keep standing out, they're going to do well. Now, I know Flowers was injured last game. I don't know if he was playing this game, but yeah, so I'm really going to go with Baltimore, but in all honesty, that's a coin flip matchup. I expect it to be a really tight game, in all honesty. And to just jump back to the Philly or Rams one, I expect Philly to come out kind of swinging in the first half. I think the Rams pick it up by third quarter. I think they sort of pull a Cowboys thing here. They don't do so hot. They don't look so great. Middle of the second quarter, they start to maybe score a touchdown, finish off the half kind of strong. Then the Eagles aren't able to score all third quarter. Rams offense, and that's how that game's going to go. So we're going to have to wait and see. But yeah, those are my picks for the divisional round as well. What do you guys think of my previous wild card picks? What do you think of these picks? Let me know your own thoughts down in the comment section down below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. See you guys all back here for some more football next time. Have a good one, everyone. Sayonara.